Hello friends, my name is Vijay Kumar and today I'll discuss about password policy in the Openldap and master slave and multi-master replication. So for this I have three servers: virtual server, LDAP1, LDAP2 and one test server, and I have taken respectively the remote sessions, SSH session for all these three servers. You can see here. So let's begin. This is a normal guidelines what password policy we can do. So for password policy I have this server RHEL. So first of all, edit the slapd.conf file, and in this file you will see these are the schemas, respective schemas. So we will see about this one password policy, ppolicy schema. This should be there, and then we will uncomment this module load ppolicy.la so that the password policy module can be loaded. Now let's go ahead and we will define this ppolicy overlay. Below to this line directory var labeled, and this I'm just going to copy all these lines and simply paste. You can see here it is about ppolicy overlay, and ppolicy default is an entry. I will make cn is equal to default for you people, and then I'll create all the respective policies in this cn default. So the ppolicy default will automatically load whatever the policy is defined for this object, for each and every object. I mean, this is the global password policy I'm going to implement. So slap test -u config file testing succeed. That means my config file is okay. Now I will remove all the entries inside slapd.d, removed, and then I'll slap test again with my new configuration file so that the all architect infrastructure configuration can be done inside the slapd.d as per my new slapd.conf file. So slap test. You can see here how it sounds like something is different. The difference is because I made these spaces inside there. Yes, this is the overlay ppolicy. I should not make any spaces there. Now it is okay. Now I'll change the ownership of this slapd.d file again to LDAP. Okay, restart the service. It's taking a little bit time. Okay, so you can see here the configuration has made there, and now I'll proceed for creating these entries, defining the global password policy. So for this I'll create a file. I already have actually created. So you can see here LDIF file, and I'll import it to create this cn is equal to default object in my Openldap. So password attribute is user password. So these all attributes which I am defining here will applicable on user password attribute. So the pwd minimum length is 6. Password max failure I can see made it 5. Password lockout is true. Lockout duration 60. You can see here, and allow user changes is true. So now I'll use to import this LDIF file in my Openldap database. So LDAP add corresponding DN, root DN, which is cn is equal to my manager, DC is equal to my domain, DC is equal to com, and -w for my password, DN password. Before password I'll define the from which file I imported. So it is showing that LDAP, and actually I made this practice before earlier. So this entry has already made by me. So let me search, find out where the entry is there or not. LDAP search. Oh no, B for base. I must say here, I must say X for simple authentication. Okay, you can see here cn is equal to default entry has already been created. So to demonstrate before you in front of you all, I'll remove this cn is equal to default entry. As you can see, all the entries are there, only OU and one group. This is the group Unix user and one user V Sharma, and one another entry which I made for implementing global password policy. It is there, so I'll remove this entry. LW delete minus V cn is equal to default, OU is equal to people, DC is equal to my domain, DC is equal to com. Oh, I must also give the credential for routine. Minus DCN is equal to manager, DC is equal to my domain, DC is equal to com, and the bindian password. Okay, so you can see here the entry has been deleted, and now when I do a LDAP search, you cannot find the cn is equal to default entry. So now I use LDAP add, and you can see here entry has been made again. Now if you want to add, modify or delete any entry means inside this cn is equal to default, then you can use a new LDIF. You can see here I have the LDIF, and change type, add, modify, replace, delete, anything you can define here, and then add, modify, delete, anything, replace, you can define here, and which attribute type you are going to replace or add. So I am going to add a new attribute type which is pwd maxage, and pwd maxage I'll define in seconds. After how many seconds? So let me import this file. But first of all, let me show you that this password max age is not there anywhere present. So now when I'll add this new LDIF, it will be there, modifying entry. And now when I'll LDAP search, do a LDAP search, you can see here pwd max age is there. So by using this method, you can add, modify, replace entries in not in respect of only cn is equal to default, but for any of the user attributes, entries. Alright, so this has been done. Now I'll go for master slab replication. So master slab, in master slab replication, one is the master and slab will always sync only. So this is the method. For this I'll use LDAP1 as a master server and LDAP2 as a replication server, replica. So I'll modify the slabd.conf file again in the same way. So you can see here the schemas, default schemas for RHEL6.x, and now I'll uncomment this module which is syncprobe.ls, so that the syncing and replication can take place. Alright, so now I'll define that this is the master replica server. So for this I'll use this overlay which is syncprobe. Oh, this is not there, this is for application, this one. So I'll copy it and paste. Overlay is syncprobe, you can see here, and the checkpoint is 110, that is the 10 in a 10 minute 100 10 second 100 entries it will be seen. So again the same thing I'll do, will remove all the configurations inside slabd.d, and then let me slap test first. Oh, the same problem is there. I must remove these spaces. Fine. Whenever I define any overlay, I must not have put any spaces for below lines. Okay, slab test -f slabd.conf to capital F, config file test, etc. Now the same thing, changing ownership for slapd.d directory. It has been changed, and now service slapd restart will take a bit time. Alright, that's now okay. So the master replication server is ready. Now I'm moving for preparing my replica server, which is the consumer. Okay, my LDAP 1 is provider and LDAP 2 is consumer. The same thing I'll do here. We'll edit the slapd.conf file and we'll remove the module syncprof.la, and now I'll define the which one sync replica RID, which is the replica ID, and we'll define which one is the provider. Provider means master LDAP server. Okay, so removing it, and I'll just simply copy and paste. Alright, you can see here my provider is ldap1.mydomain.com. I have defined type is the refresh only. That means it will refresh only the data from LDAP1 and will not impact anywhere. On which interval? So this is 1 second. In 1 second it will refresh. Attribute type is scope is sub, means sub complete directory DIT. Let's lab test minus here. The configuration file is okay. Now I will again, but before going to there, okay, slab test minus f dot d config file testing succeeded. Now it is saying that no entry defined for using default, and retry is not there. You can define here how much when the heartbeat for master LDAP is not present, how many times it will retry and in how much interval. So changing ownership and restarting the service, this is the same kind of steps I'm doing here. It's nothing new there. So service restarted and it is okay now. So master LDAP server, let me check the entries inside here. My master and replica server is ready. Now just only I'll demonstrate the objects are replicating or not. So you can see here I have one user V Sharma in my master server. In replica I did not made anything, so Vijay Sharma is there, respective entries are there. So now I'll do LDAP search to check that. Yeah, you can see here the entries which are on my master LDAP server, they all get replicated to my replica. So this, to demonstrating, I'll create a new user now. For creating a new user, I'll create a LDF file, user.ldf, will paste. Okay, now I'll remove all the other unnecessary kind of things. So user password I can define in simple plain text, and will remove these unnecessary lines. Let me remove. Okay, so mail, given name I'll change letter, but this shadow, because I implemented global password policy, so I do not need of this. Home directory changes to test, GID changes, UID changes, CN and UID number. Okay, so GID should be same because I have not defined any other GID sorry, and UID number I'll increase one number only. Okay, and the UID is now test. So I have created I prepared the LDIF for a new user which is test. Now I'll import it. LDAP add. I think this is very easy steps to configure. LDAP TCN -f LDF file, adding entry. Okay, you can see I just added the entry in my master LDAP only. I can search. So yes, the test user has been created in my LDAP master server. It should be replicated to Replica also. You can see here. Now I'll do the LDAP search again to see whether it is replicated or not. Okay, you can see the differences. Oh, it's not replicated actually because of I did not SC Linux made any rule in SC Linux, so I must enable permissive mode, and the IP tables also, flushing all the IP tables will work, and the same kind of steps I'll do in Replica also. You can configure the firewall as well, customize, then going to forward, then add, and which port and protocol you will allow. So 389 is the port, TCP port, which I am going to allow. I will also add a 389 UDP port, though it is not necessary, but I'll add it to allow UDP. Okay, now close. Okay, yeah, quit. And the set and force 0 for SC Linux. Now I'll do LDAP search, and you can see here the entries which I made in my master LDAP server get replicated. That's nice. And the master in Replica server configuration for Openldap has completed. That's pretty nice. Alright, now moving on to the next, before moving there, these are the you can see the words I used there. What are the meanings? RID is the replica ID, retry, maximum retry if master server is not responding. I did not mention there, so I'll remove these lines. Alright, the provider is the master server, type is the refresh only. Interval, how much time of interval it will replicate the data, search base. And now, I'll move for this multi-master application. So multi-master application, there is no, actually in multi-master application, all provider works as a consumer as well. So what I'll do, I'll make the changes in slapd.conf file once, and we'll put all the master nodes information inside a single file, and simply I can just copy and paste the file everywhere. So you can see here in the example server ID, I made ldap1.mydomain.com because I have only 2 servers, and the sync replica RID1, RID2. So if you have 3, you will definitely configure server ID 1, 2, and 3 as well. And this is in multi-master, the refresh and persist rule will be there, so that once any data replicated from other provider, it will persist. It will not destroy like this. Fine. So I'll simply copy this all line, mirror mode on, and paste. And I don't require to make any changes because I already made everything. The overlay is sync proc, and this as you can see, this sync proc checkpoints is log, and providers you can see in each and every schema checking is on. So I'll just do one thing, schema checking I will put off. for RID2O also. Mirror mode is on. This is the main line. Okay. Same kind of operation. We'll remove the everything inside slab.d, and then we'll test the file, and then we'll change the ownership, and then we'll restart the service. Step by step process. Okay, service has restarted. Now moving on to LDAP2, which is the master 2, I can say. So removing the existing entries, but before that I remove the configuration, and simply I'll do nothing but just paste the same slapd.conf configuration to this server, because I already made the information for both the servers, configuration for both the servers, and I have already defined there which one is consumer, which one is provider. In this multimaster case, all the servers are consumers. And okay, so removed same failed to add sync info slab test add configuration. Okay, got it. I is there. I made a mistake. Config file testing succeed. Now changing ownership, again restarting service. Both servers are ready. Let it be on. Fine. So service get restarted now. In LDAP search, I check. Yeah, the entries are same in both the master server. Fine. Now what I'll do, I'll remove one entry from here. LDAP2. LDAP delete -v. CN. Okay, copy it. Test. I'll remove this test entry, and we'll provide the bind the and conf credential also, so that okay. This entry has been deleted from master 2, and now I'll check this entry for master 1. What is impact there? Yeah, you can see the entry has gone. That entry has gone. That means the syncing is okay. Any in this rule, in multi-master rule, anything you will, any changes you will make in any of the server, the entry will get replicate automatically in on one another. So I just, you can see I made again the test user, and it replicate. That's quite easy. That means both the master and the LDAP servers, multi-master servers are in mirror mode, and they are working. So thank you for watching.